Here I am, post Sweet Child filming. I'm very tired, and I'm picking up some pizza that was left in Alyssa's car, I think. So the cast and the crew was filled with people that loved the story, and I think that's really the only reason why we were able to finish the way that we did, in the timely manner that we did. There it is. Car smelling like stale pizza. So we filmed Sunday and Monday, the 1st and 2nd of September. We had our first full day. We had one company move from a small location in Niles, Michigan to an Airbnb in Mishawaka, Indiana, which is only a 25-minute drive. It was my first time working with a child actor, and it was very fun, but also very challenging. The child in the film, played by a young man named Ben Bergthold. Let me try and find his headshot real quick. I apologize. It's Ben Bergthold, and it's this young man right here. He's 8 years old and a phenomenal actor. He got the role. We called him in for a callback last Wednesday, and he blew me away. He was the most calm kid that auditioned, I think, that came in for a callback. And he just did fantastic. I told Anthony that whenever we wanted to cast him, for him to bring his fart gun from the Minions movies. And he did, and we used it in one of the scenes. He actually insisted that we use it on every take, which was funny. But once we got used to each other and we understood how we are going to have to work together, Ben and I, we got moving after a while, and then we had a company move to the house in which we were battling losing the son. We had to collaborate, the cast, crew, and myself, to rewrite one of the scenes because the layout of the Airbnb that I had booked didn't really match what I had in mind for the story. So we just rewrote it together. What we ended up coming up with was something that was really grounded to the reality of two grown-ups, let's say, having a disagreement, but they're having this disagreement in front of a child, and they're trying to give the child the impression that everything's fine, but it's clearly not. In the act of that, figuring out where to take the story that was appropriate within the world that we had created, what was going to make the most sense, and that ate up a lot of the daylight that we were planning on using to shoot the scene. Once we got figured out, it was just a matter of filming it, which we did, and we made one tiny mistake with the sunlight where we filmed the aunt's coverage, which was played by a woman named Dana Cruz, who's very, very talented. And it was a conversation between Dana and Dakota Evans, who played Jake. So it was the aunt and Jake, through a doorway where the chain is closed. And we made the small mistake of filming Dana's coverage first, and then whenever we did the reverse, it was dark outside, so we had to get a little creative. Well, actually, Dom had to get a little creative with the lighting, and we just shot through the crack and really only exposed the area that Dakota was standing in. And luckily, this Airbnb had some white pillars that we were able to frame just behind Dakota to make it appear like it was still daylight. Everything else was smooth as bada. We wrapped somewhere around 9 p.m. and then we had a call time of 4 a.m., which was very hard. Very, very hard. And when you're exhausted but also excited for your film, you don't really get a lot of sleep anyway. So I didn't really fall asleep because I slept next to Dakota in the same room with my wife, Alyssa, and she slept on a cot. I don't know why Dakota and I slept in the same bed, but it was he had made a statement that was this is the 8th grade sleepover that we never got to have, which is exactly what it felt like in that moment. Alyssa says that she wanted Dakota to be more comfortable, so she gave him the bed. He had a bigger day than I did. He had a bigger day than she did. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's just the reason you guys slept together.
Yep, that's the reason. Needless to say, 4 a.m. came pretty damn fast. And we arrive at the location. I immediately gravitate to Anthony and Dom and try and get everything sorted out to get the first shot up, which took a little bit longer than we had anticipated, putting us in a position where we're racing against the sun again, but for it to rise instead of set. We filmed in Mishawaka, South Bend, Indiana area at this privately owned arcade called Megaplay. The first shot that we needed to get was Dakota's character Jake is getting arrested from breaking his parole, kidnapping his son, and also using methamphetamine. So we had to dress up Alyssa's car, which is a black 2013 Dodge. What is it? What kind of car do you drive? Alyssa? What kind of car do you drive? So we had the lights flashing. We had the creative director and boom pole operator Sean Freeman dressed up in a cop uniform, which was provided by our art director Lauren Schatzel, who did an amazing job dressing up Sean, cast, and the rest of the cast, as well as making sure that every location looked the way that it needed to for this look, like gritty Midwest. So after about an hour and 15 of setup, we finally get the first shot up, and we're running through everything. We have everything essential, and then we're at this point where it's like, well, the sun's only going to be down for a few more moments, so let's go ahead and get some other pickup shots. And then we see one Mishawaka police cruiser pull up, followed by another. And one man gets out of his car, and he approaches, and then the second one does, and he just simply asks, "What's going on?" And I have to explain, we're doing a short film, we have permission to be here, we have a permit, we're all good to go. And he calmly responded, "I understand that. I'm glad that you have your paperwork, but also people are concerned because people that drive by, given that it's 5 in the morning on Labor Day, people are awake and concerned." So they came to see what was going on, and he was like, "Look, I really want you to finish this movie. I hope you got everything you got, but I'm going to have to tell you to shut the lights off. Like, you guys can use the lights inside, doesn't matter, but like right now you're concerning people and you have to shut them off." Fair enough. We had what we needed, luckily, so we complied and we got the shot without the lights on. So Lauren did such a badass enough job. Lauren and Bethany Berg dressed these fucking cars, okay? It's such a good job that they convinced the Mishawaka community that there was something real going on outside of Megaplay. So after that, we filmed the other nighttime shots before the sun got too high in the sky, and then we got a shot of them arriving to the arcade outside. And after that was lunch. We sang "Happy Birthday" to my good friend Zach Risher. He was recording sound on set. So it was Zach and Sean were both groomsmen in my wedding, and they've also never missed a project of mine, which I am very happy to share with you. I'm so glad they were there. But yeah, we sang "Happy Birthday" over lunch, and Alyssa actually recorded a video.
Happy birthday, dear Zach. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, blow them out.
After that, we started rehearsing for the heavy scenes inside of the bathroom at the arcade, in which I cried both times because of the performances and the content that we were capturing. Even explaining the scene to how I wanted it to like feel and how it was supposed to kind of flow to both Dakota and Ben, I started crying. So there's a scene where Ben is sharing final moments with his dad before he's taken away to prison. And there's a second scene that happens in the bathroom that's like immediately preceding them saying goodbye to each other, where Ben is yelled at by his dad, Jake, and he pees his pants because he's so scared. Yeah, those were tough emotionally, but we got them, and they're amazing scenes. just a pizza update. I'm done. The scene after that, I've been looking forward to the entire shoot, where it's like Jake and Ben bonding over video games at the arcade, and it's just like a montage of them having a good time, laughing, smashing some buttons, playing some air hockey, and that's how we ended the day. And I know for damn sure it's Ben's favorite thing, because he wouldn't stop asking when we got to play, and we had a lot of fucking fun. It was an amazing experience, but it was extremely exhausting. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. It's a project that will forever be near and dear to my heart. Thank you, guys.